Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the CSL. We have a terrific matchup for you tonight, but I'm Joe Laguidis. I'm joined here today by Fear Dragon. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, Joe, and we're finally coming in full video effect. So, welcome, guys, to the CSL. As Joe already mentioned, we're going to be casting a really awesome series today. We are going to be following yet again Temple University in their undefeated streak, seeing if anyone can take these guys out before we go to the playoffs. And it seems like Irvine is up to the challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting matchup to watch, and I think we're for our first map, we're probably going to have one of the most contentious games in this series with Daybreak, or on Daybreak here rather, and it's going to be Armday versus Tesla. Now, Armday, a pretty high-level player. Tesla has been known to be a bit vulnerable in the past here for Temple, and it's going to be interesting to see if Armday can step up, take him out, and start the series off with a win for Irvine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tesla is one of those really good Grandmaster level Protoss players, but he has very much shown that he is susceptible to losing sometimes. Sometimes when he tries to get a little bit too cute with things. And honestly, I think that this is very much in the potential for Armday, also known, I think, as 4Bolt on the CSL website, as a potential player that could end up losing.
Yeah, and we're just
winning versus Tesla.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe Armday is going to be playing Zerg here. Tesla's Terran. All right.
We're good. We're good. Sorry, guys. We're starting the lobby and everything. Want to make sure all the races are set correctly. That's actually a little bit surprising because they had plenty of time to figure that out.
Yeah, we have been in here for a bit, but I guess sometimes with the Temple guys, it feels like they're more checking their memes than checking their races. That can be one of the biggest weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most certainly, but I think that we are finally ready to get started once again. The races are all set up correctly. Now, once again, for those who have not been keeping up with the CSL, currently Temple University is up at a 10-0 undefeated winning streak, and they are facing off versus UC Irvine, who has gone currently 7-3 in the CSL for the season. So Irvine is definitely one of the strong teams out there, but taking out someone like Temple is definitely going to require a little bit more than just getting a little bit lucky. You really need to have the skill to do that.
Yeah, but we have now spawned into our first match in the series, and we're going to go ahead and introduce our first player spawning in the top right-hand corner, playing for Team UC Irving. It is going to be the pink Zerg player, Armday.
And his opponent spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, the purple Protoss player, representing Sloth Esports as well as his team, Temple University. Give it up for Tesla.
Tesla, of course, one of those guys that has a, I'm going to go ahead and say, stylistic way of playing. He does like the DTs, the Blink DTs, in fact. He likes being aggressive on the map. He's not afraid to do some crazy proxies against you. But so far, he's not indicating that he's going to be going for anything super nuts here in the hyper early game.
Yeah, I think very much so. Like, you can go for some kind of crazy forge stuff. I mean, Haas is known for doing stuff like that, as well as even just a couple of other top Protoss players known for sometimes mixing up with a forge opening. But yeah, we're going to be seeing a low ground gateway expansion. Tesla is more the player, though, that I expect to see something weird coming out after he's thrown down maybe a Twilight Council, or after he's thrown down maybe his Stargate, or something along those lines. Usually comes out with that kind of tier 2 tech from Tesla.
Yeah, that Protoss tech pressure can be so powerful if you don't know how to deal with it. Although I imagine that Armday, being a North American player, playing at a fairly high level, has probably run into Tesla a bit, and maybe will have kind of a bit of a read, hopefully, for him on this situation going into it.
Mm-hmm. All right, but what is Armday going to be doing right now? Because Armday, again, is sort of the challenger in this situation. He's the one that has to upset Masters League player versus a Grandmasters League player. It can be a little bit intimidating, but sometimes players do cave under that kind of pressure, and they just go straight out for the cheese. They'll go for something like the big Roach Ravager all-in. That's actually become pretty common to try and shut down Protoss thirds these days.
Yeah, on Daybreak, there's quite a bit of distance to walk across the map, but kind of the flip side of that is there's quite a bit of distance to defend any third that you might take. So even though it takes a bit longer for the attack to get there, the pressure's on the Protoss a bit more to hold that off. We still don't know exactly what we're going to be seeing out of either of these players. You just kind of see the normal tech coming out. Obviously, speed is about halfway done at this point. Mothership core about halfway done for Tesla. And both these guys are just kind of gearing up to make sure they can start being out on the map, get some information, show some map posture and all of that.
Yeah, I'm a little bit sad that, you know what, of all the players that I expect to use the sprays on their probes and their workers or the scouts, I would expect Tesla to be the one, especially with the decal that he's chosen, but no, doesn't end up using one.
Maybe he just needs a bit of coaching there. Just hit him up.
Yeah,
Hey,
you know what, I'm
drop
gonna have
those
to
sprays.
message him about it. We'll have to get that resolved, but all right, here we go. Adept number 1 moves on in. Did end up saving that initial worker, but there are quite a few Zerglings out for Arm Day. Going to be able to easily catch this Adept. Adept does get a nice kind of angle. Is going to be able to kill off 1 or 2 Zerglings, but it is going to end up going down.
Yeah, and this is not any kind of super committed Zergling all-in. Right behind this, we did see Armday make 8 more drones, so he's not going to be going into that stage of hyper-aggression just yet. Continuing to drone, he's got the Roach Warren on the way, so we'll have to see if he's gearing up for that to be an aggressive move or a defensive one. On the other side of the map, though, his Lings are going to start to poke into space.
Yeah, I mean, this is slightly more Zerglings than you would normally expect, I think, at this point in the game, and wow. Gonna end up losing quite a few of the Zerglings to the Foot and Overcharge, even though he does get into the main base, but he does get into the main base, and there's a lot of value provided in that, not just in the harassment potential, but also just scouting. You can see that Tesla doesn't actually care as much about hiding the tech of the Dark Shrine that he's throwing down right now, as much as he just wants to make sure he gets his timings out. He needs to get that Dark Shrine out as fast as he needs to.
Yeah, and Armday missed the Dark Shrine the first time, but when he circled back around, he was able to see it. And that means that he should have detection prepared in order to deal with that by the time those DTs get across the map. Layer already halfway done, so he's going to have access to those Overseers, which can be really critical when you're dealing with the kind of non-stop Dark Shrine harass style that Tesla likes to play. And it's just going to come down to execution on both of these players, I think.
Yeah, very much so. Well, we do have the Spore Crawlers starting to plop on. Oh, no, sorry, those are Spine Crawlers coming down from Armday. Did Armday not click on the Dark Shrine? He may have actually just thought, oh, you have gateways, you're making adepts, you have a Twilight Council, you're going for a big resonating glaives all in. That's all well and good. He doesn't have any Overseers out. He does have a couple of Roaches out, but he's going to need some sort of form of defense against the Dark Templar soon.
Well, the first Spore Crawler is on its way, but that's all the way down at or I guess it's at the natural, and I mean, he's
the main base.
The main base, sorry, and he's going to be needing more than just that to deal with it. The Dark Templar are going to be going for the main base first, so he's going to have that in position to try to shut this down. But if Armday, or rather if Tesla yo-yos to any of other Armday's bases, this could become very problematic very quickly.
Yeah, Overseer is getting morphed in, but these DTs actually killing a surprisingly large number of Zerglings and a Roach here and there, killing off a Queen, getting some kind of nice bits of damage done, but gotta move back with that War Prism now that the Queens are there.
Now, the typical transition out of this is that that 2 Archon drop, and we're going to see that fired up right away. It offers a lot of harassment potential. As long as you don't fight the Roaches head on, you can kind of just slowly kill them. And Tesla's a guy that has the micro to make this drop have a lot of value.
Yeah, I'm actually really liking Tesla's playstyle right now because he has in the past been known to go for some of the more cheeky playstyles, go for really, really fast blink, and kind of, I guess, play with his opponent a little bit, and it ends up biting him in the butt quite often, but this is just straight up solid play. This is just a very, very well-known opening of you go for the 4 DT drop, you turn them into Archons, you get some damage done, you're going to follow up with a couple more gateways, and maybe pump out some more Immortals.
And Armday is not messing around here, Fear Dragon. He is pumping out Roaches nonstop. He just caught one of the Archons. I think he's probably going to wait for this +1 to finish, and then just stream units across the map nonstop, and just never stop attacking that 3rd base.
Well, Zerglings try and sneak into the natural expansion, gets force fielded out, and these Zerglings now going after one of the Adepts that gets warped in, and that does buy time for the rest of the army to get over there and I think clean up most of these Zerglings, but the Roaches gonna catch everything off guard. Might be able to snipe off that robotics facility.
That's a really nice start there, denying that immortal production. That's going to make the follow-up, if he continues to pump Roaches, as it appears he's doing, a lot more powerful. Now, Armday is backing off for the moment. He's taking a chill pill. He's consolidating his forces and waiting for his reinforcements to join up. But I think once we see that +1 finish, Armday is going to try to hit and hit hard.
Yeah, this is becoming a bit of a weird situation, though. Armday currently floating a lot of minerals, but doesn't actually have that much gas. I think that he's kind of actually limited on gas by a good bit right now. I wonder... Oh, he never took his... gas guys are at the natural expansion, but here we go. This engagement in the center right now. Tesla has a lot of power units, and I think Armday is really wishing that he had some way to spend some of that mineral count that he has.
Yeah, at this point I almost wonder if like a flood of Zerglings or something would be helpful, just so he could try to bounce around and maybe force Tesla to make difficult decisions, splitting up his army to deal with that. But so far we're just going to see him continue to kind of stockpile up on all those minerals, continue to pump out Roaches as fast as he can, and continue attacking the third base here.
Yeah, he's finally been able to spend a good chunk of those minerals, and I like exactly what he's doing right now, going after that third expansion while also trying to push in on different angles, but gotta be really careful over here. It seems like Tesla's actually cutting off this army with Archons and Sentries.
Yeah, this was a really nice flank here by Tesla. He managed to divide the army of Armday in two, which makes it so much less powerful. Able to confront that smaller chunk kind of one-on-one and just absolutely destroy it. And now Armday is running home with his tail between his legs.
That awkward moment when Tesla's been warping in nonstop Zealots but doesn't actually have charge just yet. I wonder if that is an intentional thing. Normally you just see, I guess he doesn't exactly have resonating glaives either, so Zealots are better than nothing.
Yeah, I guess if you've got to spend your money somehow, why not make those Zealots? Tesla actually appearing to be going for a Zealot drop, knowing that Armday is going to be quite a bit out of position here to defend the main. A couple of Roaches are trickling in already, but the rest have to walk so far to get into this main base, and Tesla's just going to drop off those Zealots and maybe get out of there.
But he did buy himself a lot of space, because the big thing behind this is that he's trying to drop and pull the army back while he takes a fourth in the center of the map. That's going to give him time to get his army up there, warp in a couple more units, and potentially get up some pylons he can photon overcharge for the defense if he needs them later.
Yes, and he's making those Immortals 2 at a time. He knows that his opponent is going to be kind of stuck on this Roach Ravager tech, that he's committed to it so heavily at this point, with the massive amount he's made, with the ranged upgrades going in here. And Tesla is just going to count on these Immortals to kind of be the backbone of his army with the Archons. Once Charge finishes up, his Zealots will be a lot more effective in dealing with this playstyle. And I think Armday is really counting on the Infestors that he's clearly going for to try to make that decisive difference in the upcoming battle.
I mean, it could make a pretty big difference. If you get some good fungal growths down on this kind of army composition of Zealots and Archons, they really do need to close the distance. And if you can lock them down and deal damage from a little bit of a distance, you can do quite well against them. Archons do actually die pretty quickly if they don't really have the opportunity to get on top of your opponent's army.
Well, Tesla is going for a big Dark Templar attack here. There's actually no detection done quite yet. Now there is detection, so he's forced to get out of there. But Tesla's just going to try to bounce around, buy himself more time, let that charge finish up, let that +2 finish up, and so far he's doing a very good job with the micro, not even losing a single DT.
Yeah, just keeping his opponent busy, doing a really nice job, like you were saying. I mean, the entire army is there, and he's still not losing anything more than just the shields, but he does move into position, and it seems like Armday is going to respond. A couple of Infestors already out. Pathogen Glands finished researching, so has enough energy for some fungals.
Well, the fungals go down, and they are good, but a lot of the Zealots are able to trickle through from the back and get right on top of this army immediately. Miscontrol with the Infestors means that they're going to be so vulnerable. A lot of them will get sniped down very quickly here. We need to see another big fungal, and that is going to lock a lot of those Archons in place. One Corrosive Bile is available, but it absolutely whiffs, and Tesla's army is just powering through this. I don't know what Armday can do to try to stop it, given the tools he has available.
I mean, +2 Immortals, Joe, are just so strong against the army that Armday has been making. It's just Roaches and Ravagers and a couple of Infestors, but guess what? In case you didn't know this, Infestors are also armored units.
Well, he's trying his best, is Armday. There's only 3 Immortals left, but there's more reinforcements coming in from behind, and there's a lot of Archons to help try to buffer with this a bit. The Archons are starting to fall, but I think Tesla is going to be very happy with the way this went. He took out a base, he killed 18 drones, and Armday, even if he manages to hold here, he doesn't really have any kind of advantage as this game continues to go on.
Yeah, GG gets called, and Tesla puts one on the board in game number 1 for this particular best of 5 series.
Well, guys, that was game number 1 of this series. Temple is able to go up 1-0 versus UC Irvine, and we're going to be right back. But before we go, I want to take a moment to say thank you to some of our big sponsors that make this possible. Band Gaming, of course, is a great social app, has lots of features for gamers, and you can go ahead and hop on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store to grab it. And I also want to say thanks to Twitch. They're the platform that you're obviously watching the CSL on. They're the exclusive platform for CSL, and it's the biggest esports broadcasting site out there. So if you're just kind of lurking in chat, go ahead and make an account. It's a great way to say thank you. And we're going to be right back with King Rays versus Requiem, so don't go anywhere.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sand where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up. When you reach the end, will you wait for me? Holding out a torch that's lighting up the way. I can't run and I can't crawl, but as soon as I scale your castle walls, I'll try to find you. 'Cause I know I see it all tonight. Oh, I see it all tonight. I want you come alive. I feel the world around us. I see it all
girl that time forgot. She just shakes her ears. She's falling too far with salt in her scars. Won't let it taste her tears. She's falling too far. The girl that time forgot. statue in a marble block. He's in love with the girl that time forgot. She just sheds her ears. She's falling too far with salt in her scars. Won't let it taste her tears. She's falling too far. The girl that time forgot. You let it go, catacombs. You let it go, let it go.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the CSL. We're getting ready to jump into Game 2 here between Requiem of UC Irvine versus Rays of Temple. Excuse me. It's going to be on Newkirk Precinct. This is, of course, our second 1v1 of the day. Temple is leading 1-0 and the countdown has started, so I am really excited to see this TVP in action.
Oh, so am I right now, Joe, because you have to remember that Temple still very much on an undefeated streak, and I think if you want to win versus Temple at this point, after you've lost the other 1v1, you have to beat Rays at some point. You either got to beat him in this 1v1, or most likely you got to beat him in the ace match. So it's now or nothing.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, but spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, playing for Team Temple, we have our purple Terran. It is King Rays.
And his opponent spawning down in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the blue Protoss player. Give it up for Requiem. Representing, of course, his team Irvine.
So, Fear Dragon, I have a question that I want to ask you because we've been casting Temple a lot lately. Now,
What's up?
We see a lot of Rays. We always refer to him as one of the best players in the CSL. But I'm wondering, at this point, would you say you would call Rays a pro player?
Yeah, I would consider him a pro or semi-pro. You know, the definition between the two is definitely up for debate, but Rays is definitely one of the top players in North America.
Yeah, it's kind of a fine line, but you see a lot of the Grandmaster level players here in the CSL, but I don't think there's a lot of people that you would rightly call pros, and like to that effect, I think the level that Rays plays at makes him a very, very difficult opponent to stop. Now, this pro Paras just being annoying here is a nice start for Requiem, who's now going to go get some scouting information, make sure he's not missing anything crazy, but so far so good as far as he can tell.
Yeah, just kind of mostly I think the things that Requiem would be scouting for right now are, am I getting proxied? Are you expanding at all right now? He's going to see the expansion being thrown down. That immediately eliminates a lot of possibilities of 1-1-1 openings, all kinds of all-ins that I think some Terran players were doing. Not as much these days, but we're doing not that long ago, maybe like a month ago.
Yeah, and Rays is the kind of guy that is not afraid to do aggressive stuff, so when you're playing against him, it definitely makes sense to be on the safer side of things. Now, Requiem, on the other hand, appears to be playing pretty standard as well. Ooh, he's actually going to get this probe chase down, which is really annoying. It limits your map presence. No ability to throw down that pylon and maybe go for some kind of run-by later on in the game. Well done by Rays.
Yeah, absolutely. But here we go. We do now move into the next stage of the game where we're going to end up seeing Requiem trying to get out that next Adept. Going to try and just get out some form of way to put some pressure on Rays as well as deal with the Reaper. But where is that Reaper actually sitting right now? It's making its way across the map. It's going to try and get some sort of scouting information off. We'll see when Requiem actually throws down the next form of tech.
Yeah, and here comes the Reaper of Rays. It's not really supposed to be able to get a probe, but sometimes when your control is good, you're able to, but it looks like no. Mothership Core, great positioning there by Requiem, and able to clean up that scout with no difficulty.
Yeah, Raze is going to be completely in the dark to the next 4 second. There is that Stargate being thrown down, so Raze probably going to have to kind of blindly prepare for some of the potential options, and he's making Hellions right now. He is making 2 more Widow Mines immediately afterwards. He's going to have some form of defense against an Oracle, but we'll see. Is Requiem going to go for the Oracle, or is he going to go to the Phoenix style?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be up for debate here. These Hellions should be able to give Raze the information that there is a Stargate in play here. It's up in the natural, which makes it pretty easy to scout. The Mothership Core is going to try to stop these Hellions from getting any damage done, but they're getting a complete scout. And I think after having that Reaper denied, Raze is going to be very happy with trading them for info.
Yeah, although Requiem did blow 2 photon overcharges, and you have to remember, the starport's now finished up, Liberator is now coming out. Joe, this could actually spell a bit of doom and disaster for both players. The only difference is, Widow Mines, with the drop going off and no photon overcharge in conjunction with Liberator, can end a game, whereas an Oracle can do a lot of damage, but I think the reinforcements or even just a Liberator can eventually clean that up, or at least chase it back.
Yeah, we're going to need to see really good probe pulls here in order to deal with this Widow Mine drop. And so far, there's no reaction. This could be absolutely devastating. And that was not nearly as bad as it could have been for Requiem.
Yeah, kind of underwhelming considering there was no probe pull, but it ends up working out well for Requiem for now. Liberator moving out across the map, though, does get spotted by an Adept.
Requiem is going to bring this Oracle home to clean up the Widow Mines instead of using it for some kind of aggressive counter damage here. But the Widow Mines actually packed up and went home already, which basically just means Requiem kind of had a big opportunity lost there.
Yeah, kind of funny enough, the Widow Mines are going to go back into the main base and potentially get some more damage done. Photon Overcharge is now available in the main base. Requiem does react pretty quickly and is going to be able to Photon Overcharge, but the Widow Mines still find a place to burrow, and the Liberator siege up the natural at the same time.
Yeah, and now we're starting to see the massive snowball parade of damage. This Oracle is just kind of flying around being useless. There is a Void Ray out here now, and that will clean up this Liberator. Requiem still on 3 bases, but he's pretty significantly behind in workers here, and I think he's either going to need to probe like a madman or go for some kind of choice aggression to even things out.
This is that really weird stage, right, where you kind of have to make that decision because you have 3 Nexus. You're ahead of your opponent in terms of actual expansion count, but the problem is you've taken so much damage, your work count is really far behind, and you don't even exactly have that many really core critical units that you need to take a big engagement. Yeah, an Oracle is nice, you can do some nice harassment. A Void Ray is also nice, but 2 Stalkers and a Sentry, how many gateways are we even sitting on? 2 gateways? I don't really think this is enough of a powerful structural setup to actually do any kind of real damage.
Yeah, and I think Requiem agrees with you. He's just going to be chrono boosting out probes, trying to catch up in that worker count. He's still got another few seconds before Raze's own third is finished up, and he's going to use that time to try to close the gap as much as possible. But Raze on the other side of the map is just powering up. His 1-1 is going to be, or his +1 combat shield stim are all going to be finishing up soon. He's going to have a lot of bio to work with, a couple of medevacs. And if we look at Requiem, he's sitting on kind of this gas-heavy, expensive army that doesn't actually have a lot of straight-up fighting power.
This is going to get really, really dicey really quickly, Joe. Stasis Trap is really nice. I actually love this decision. It's going to be able to buy him some time if the units go there, and guess what? Raze actually scans, sees the Stasis Trap, and is also going to be able to siege up outside of the range of that Photon Overcharge.
Yeah, really nice positioning from Raze here, even peeling off a single Marine to deal with that Stasis Trap. So well done, and he's just going to be putting the pressure on Requiem's third from a very safe position. Raze knows he doesn't need to be getting overly aggressive here, and now he's going to power down this ramp, just snipe that pylon quick, and then pull back once again and allow his Widow Mines to set up.
One Widow Mine does get sniped off. Nice job from Requiem focus firing that down. He does have the Observer also, so he can focus fire down the other one if he gets a chance to. But gotta be careful not to move too far forward.
Yeah, he's trying his best as Requiem, and those are actually some really great force fields, but he burnt a lot of energy to make that happen.
Yeah, Raze, I think, probably wants to move that siege tank a little bit further forward. He ends up losing that Widow Mine. He's going to have some reinforcements kind of streaming on forward. But I do feel like if he had gotten that sea chunk just a little bit further forward, maybe in range of that Nexus, he could put on a lot more pressure here.
Now, this small hit squad of Bio is going to come up and try to snipe these expensive units that are a bit exposed at the front. But there's now an Immortal to back this army up. And this is one of those power units we were talking about that really allows his army to fight more effectively. The barrier does get popped, and that's going to fade away pretty quickly, though. So Raze can get right on top of it and try to focus it down if he wants to do that. These Adepts doing an okay job of fighting at the front. But I think what Requiem needs right now is just more beef in his army.
Yeah, I agree. He's trying to warp in more of these Adepts, but they are just going down slowly but surely. The slams off the Observer, that's really nice. If these Widowmines ever get burrowed a little bit further forward, this is going to be a really difficult position for Requiem, who's just trying to pump out as many power units as possible. Can't really spare time for Observers.
Yeah, Mothership Core very damaged here. It's a tempting target for Raze, who's going to continue to pick away at it. It does get one final Photon Overcharge off before it goes down. And now this army is basically just Immortal Void Ray. It's trying its best to prevent the sniping of that third. I think Requiem knows if that third goes down, it's all over. And here it comes. Raze is getting on top of that. And there's so little left for Requiem to do anything with.
That third expansion was his big advantage, and this has been a long enough game that Raze took his third, is on way more workers than Requiem at this point, leading up 11 workers, has one upgrades finished up, and now he just has to be careful about the big Disruptor. The Disruptor was the major play for Requiem, and now that it's on cooldown, I don't really know that he can actually even push forward and retake that third right now.
Yeah, that would have been a solid hit if this was an even game. But when you're as far behind as Requiem is, you just need absolute dream shots. You need your opponent to maybe look away from the keyboard for a second so you can wipe out their whole army with a single ball, and that just didn't happen. Raze is too good of a player to let that happen. A second Disruptor shot's going to come out now, and it's going to whiff everything. And I think this is when Raze decides that he can maybe start to consider just really powering on into the heart of this army.
Yeah, Blink is going to be finishing up pretty soon, so maybe he can make some magic happen with that, but even that one Siege Tank in the far back is really annoying, because if any of these units have to Adepts try and shade on top of the Widow Mines, and God forbid, that would actually also be a really scary situation, I think, for Requiem. But anything that just tries to move too far forward, the Siege Tank is also going to start to obliterate. I think Raze knows how much damage he's done. He's seen, yeah, your third is so unbelievably late, I don't even have to take a risk over here. He is going to go for a big drop in the main base because he sees the opportunity, but he doesn't need to stick around at that third anymore.
No, and I think it's going to do devastating damage because Requiem is completely out of position. He was so focused on trying to defend that third position that he just neglected his main base here. Everything is going to be swinging into the main from Requiem now, but these Void Rays very exposed, going to go down almost instantly, and now it's just Immortals fighting straight up against Bio. Most of the Widow Mines have gone off on top of the Void Rays. Requiem is basically just moving through this minefield, and I think that's going to be it. GG is called, and Raze brings Temple up 2-0.
Yep, I think that Raze again kind of proves that he is the powerhouse right now for Temple University, and a lot of the reason why they've been able to have such a stable win condition, I guess, of we have to win one of the 2v2s and probably the 1v1, but basically we only have to win one other match, because if Raze can win his game and we really need him to win the ace match, we're good. So Raze, give it up for him, bringing his team up 2-0.
Yeah, big shout out to him. Temple only needs to win one more game to take this whole series, Fear Dragon. We're going to have to see after the break if UC Irvine can come back around and make their defense.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sand where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rise it's lighting up the way. I can't run and I can't crawl, but as soon as I scale your castle walls, I'll try to find you. 'Cause I know I see it all tonight. Oh, I see it all tonight. I watch you come alive. I feel the world around us. I see it all
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the CSL. I'm Joe, I'm here with Fear Dragon, and we're getting ready to jump into what could be our final game in the series on Sludge City. How are you feeling about this 2v2, man?
It's an important one, Joe, because again, now we have Temple sitting up 2-0, and Irvine has to win 3 games in a row if they want to be able to dethrone the undefeated team that is Temple right now. And on top of that, they have to win the 2v2, the Archon mode match, and they have to most likely beat Raze again in the Ace match, who I think just looked pretty unbeatable in that 1v1 game. There's a very, very long uphill battle right now, but we'll see if Irvine's up for the challenge.
Well, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner is going to be their opponent. Playing for Team Temple, it is the Green Terran Centaurwa and the Blue Zerg player, Tugboat.
And spawning up in the top left, we have representing Team UC Irvine. Give it up for the red Zerg player, Frog Chris. And his teammate, the pink Protoss player, Leg Day, who I believe we saw was a Platinum League player. Has an idle probe, which is not the greatest thing in the world right now.
No, you don't want to be giving your workers time off quite yet. They kind of have to work to get those benefits. It's going to be interesting to see if... Why is that worker idle? Like, it's not a bad rally. Your units auto-rally in Legacy of the Void.
I think it was supposed to originally build like a pylon, and he reconsidered doing it at his Nexus and decided to build it at the wall. And this could just be nerves, you know? Oftentimes, if you aren't super used to playing these kind of competitive tournament settings, you're busy. You're thinking at a million miles an hour, kind of thinking, okay, here's what our opponent's composition is. You know, you're talking with your teammate. You're trying to look at the map. Maybe you aren't super familiar with 2v2s, although I think we did check. Leg Day was Diamond in 2v2s, so probably has some experience there. But yeah, maybe just not entirely all ready to play a game of StarCraft right now.
Well, it looks like we're going to be seeing the strategy that we so often see out of Tugboat and Centaurwa, which is going to be a big Zergling push, which is typically followed up on Centaurwa's end.
Oh.
Ooh.
Well, nice micro over there from Tugboat, and he actually poked it at the front, saw that the door was down, and then said, you know what, too easy. I'm going to go for the Zerg player instead. But he's going to be able to actually get some damage done over here as well.
Yeah, and Centaurwa's follow-up with this is going to be a 3 Rax Reaper, it looks like. And then typically Centaurwa likes to stay on one base and go into a big tech pressure. And it's looking like this is already spiraling completely out of control as these Lings are killing all of these drones. So much lost mining time already. I just don't think these players were prepared for this.
Joe, it's called a 3 Rax Reaper because you build 3 barracks and then you make Reapers. It's not called a 3 Rax Reaper because you only make 3 Reapers and then you win the game.
Yeah, I think perhaps... I don't know what to say. I mean, Frog Chris is essentially out of the game at this point, which means that Leg Day is going to have to stand on his own against the onslaught of 2 armies. And I don't know if you ever tried to hold off 2 armies at once, but it's pretty damn hard, Fear Dragon.
Well, here's the thing, Joe. He's got a good chance of standing on his own because his name is Leg Day, because that's really the only thing he's got going for him right now. I mean, it really was just one of those situations where I think Leg Day kind of, and his teammate Frog Chris, ended up misreading the situation about how aggressive their opponents would be. And Tugboat and Centaur very much able to punish them.
Yeah, and Legaday is trying his damnedest. He has a giant wall up at the front, but that is going to fall. His probes are all dying to this Reaper micro. And I think we may be having a very short evening here at the CSL.
Well, given that there are a total of 4 workers out for Team UC Irvine, I think you might be right on this, Joe.
Yeah, there is a Dark Shrine coming up. And you know what? I believe when behind go Dark Shrine. Dark Shrines don't need to be powered. They're kind of unique in that respect for Protoss buildings. So, who cares that there's no pylons?
Not leg day. I'll tell you that, Joe. Frogger's also taking a 3rd expansion over at the gold, trying to hide it. That his 2 workers can mine from.
So I think
his 1 worker can mine from now.
I think the long-term plan here might be go for a mulligan. I don't think we have them in the CSL, but maybe these guys think we do. There's a couple of Zealots left. This Dark Shrine is going to finish up soon. I'm going to be honest, I don't see any way that the 4 supply UC Irving can recover here.
I mean, here's the real problem right now, Joe. Leg Day doesn't actually have enough minerals to warp in a DT now that the Dark Shrine is finished.
But his probe macro's on point, so he's mining once again. So if we give him 5 minutes, he could conceivably get up to that level. Photon overcharge is pretty good. And then it just
if you have energy for photon overcharge, that it is pretty good. I will agree with you.
And we're going to go ahead and reset the worker count here, but we are back to 60 minerals, which means that, yeah, you can go ahead and make that probe as Leg Day's doing. Hope is not dead.
And it looks like there is exactly 1 drone out on the map right now for Frog Chris, so technically he could also start mining from one of his 3 bases. But I don't think he's going to attempt to right now. He's sitting on 0 minerals, so if he doesn't do something, then he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to be relying on Leg Day to send him minerals in this game where Temple University is leading up 120 supply.
Yeah, typically speaking, and this is I just made this rule up, but I think it's a good rule in StarCraft. If you have more bases than workers, something is horrendously wrong.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good rule.
Although Centaur Wa is going to fix that issue for Frog Chris by bringing him back down to 1 base, thus resetting a 1-to-1 worker to base ratio. So I think Frog Chris is going to be feeling a bit more comfortable here.
Yeah, I think that Temple University is feeling pretty good. They can kill this pylon without actually... Well, seems like they're going to back off, but I do feel like they could still probably just kill the pylon, and then there would be 0 warp gate production. And if they go in over here, actually right now, Leg Day does have a DT warped in.
Oh,
wow, he did get a DT out.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Now he just to hope that there are 0 scans available, which is not true.
Okay, so the DT is now dead. Leg Day does not have enough minerals to resume probe production. And that's going to be GG.
All right, and it seems like UC Irvine finally does tap out, and victory is going to go to Temple University. They take the 3-0.
That was a very clean series. Congrats to Temple University, who I believe are still undefeated here in the CSL, 11-0 now, if memory serves correctly.
That is correct. 11-0. Absolute beasts that cannot be toppled, it seems like right now. UC Irvine definitely not doing too bad, sitting 7-4, and is still going to have a good opportunity to bump up that score in the future weeks as well. But that is going to do it. Temple University looking in a good spot to come out first in their group.
So thank you for joining us here at the CSL, guys. I do want to take a final moment to thank our sponsors before we leave. They're the guys that make it all possible. So first off, we have Band Gaming, and I think for that excellent showing, I think we should award Centaur One Tugboat the Band Together Award because they had great teamwork, their timings lined up just about perfectly, the Ling Flood with that Reaper attack, and then they just thoroughly dismantled their opponent. So I'm going to go ahead and award them the Band Gaming Award, or Band Together Award, sorry.
Couldn't agree more.
Other than that, we have, of course, Asus. They make some top quality gear for gamers. If you guys need keyboards, routers, gaming laptops, or any other peripherals, go ahead and check them out. You can find their stuff on Amazon, Newegg, all your typical electronics retailers. And last but not least, a big thank you to Twitch, who is hosting the CSL on their platform, helps make it possible, and it's, of course, the leading esports broadcasting platform. So until next time, thank you for joining us here at the CSL. I'm Joe, this is Fear Dragon, and we'll see you guys Thursday.